week 16, day 5, the second part of Not Much Fun. Can I depend on you to do what you said you were going to do when we started? We've been focused on common sense all week. How'd you do? For every minus that you gave yourself, explain what happened. Not only explain what happened, but explain why it happened and what are you going to do differently to keep it from happening again. Use common sense. No loser's limp. No loser's limp. Common sense. Social Security. Write down something you learned this week about common sense. How about if the congressman were on Social Security? What did you learn about common sense about your body weight? About your job description? About evaluations? I've in 42 years in education, I have seen the worst evaluations ever dreamed of by man. Gets along well with parents. I'll bring you 3 that love me, and you can bring me 3 that hate me. Those are not evaluations. Those are simply bureaucratic ways to try to get rid of you. Because when they're all said and done, you can have a good evaluation and get fired because 3 parents called in on you. They need to reshape the evaluation systems. What about strength? How do you get stronger? You put stress on a muscle. How do you get in better shape? You put stress on the heart muscle, the cardiovascular system. Make the blood pump more oxygen into your body. Why do you run 10 100s at the end of practice? Or why do you do this? Common sense. I had a player once, final story this week. I'm not even going to ask you about your goals. You know what you need to do. We were playing a football game at Texas Stadium. We had a college coach that wanted to catch a ride with us, put his car there at the motel and catch a ride with us. I said, okay. We get on the bus and I say, everybody here? And they said, no, so-and-so's not here. I said, really? Yeah. So I go back in, I call his room. Oh, Coach, I went back to sleep. And boy, he jumps up and he runs down there and he gets on the bus. We drive to the stadium, play the game, win the game, come home. Same college coach comes to the office on Monday. And he says, you know, as tough as you are on these kids, I was real surprised Saturday when you didn't say a word to that kid. He just got on the bus. I thought you'd probably leave him, not even let him go to the game. I sure thought you might set him out for a quarter or a half. And I said, well, let me ask you this, Coach. Who would I have hurt had I set him out for a half? Him or the team? You see, to me, it's common sense. We went out there and we had practice that day, and the college coach stuck around for the entire practice. And at the end of practice, the young man that had been late or hadn't shown up for the bus going to the stadium came up and he said, I'm ready, Coach. I said, okay, you got 10 100s. I know. Well, most of the team stayed out there with him, and a bunch of them ran with him. But he never doubted for a second. He knew the rules. If you're late or you missed the bus or anything, you got to run 10 100s. Our discipline was never on view for the parents. People that discipline their players and their students in a public manner are not doing it for the student. They're doing it for themselves. Look how tough I am. No, sir, he didn't play the first half because he was late for the bus. I'm going to teach him a lesson. We lost the game, yeah, that's right. But he learned his lesson. No, he didn't. He just became the most popular guy in that school because he didn't play the first half. And you became an idiot with no common sense whatsoever. If you're going to discipline someone, don't discipline them in public. If the people don't know that you're a disciplinarian, you can't use the kids publicly to show them that. Last thing about common sense, and I think this is one of the greatest stories I ever heard. I spoke at a banquet one year, and I won't tell you who it was. It doesn't matter. One of the best high school coaches in the state of Texas told me this story. He said, I always had a rule because part of the speech was about don't discipline publicly. And he said, I had a rule. If you didn't practice on Wednesday, you didn't play Friday night. That's discipline right there. I said, okay. He said, so this kid's mom died. The funeral was on Wednesday. So I look up and there he is at practice. And I said, what are you doing here? He said, well, if I'm not here, I don't get to play Friday night. He was going to miss his mom's funeral in order to not break that rule. Coach said, I quit that rule that day. You know, that's common sense. Don't let the rules overcome common sense. That's why common sense is so uncommon today, but it's so necessary. I hope you got all your goals done this week. Sorry we didn't talk enough about them. The thing I miss about the classroom is the openness and the objectivity and the ability to sit and visit about things that we've talked about, especially this week, common sense. Because every class I've ever had, this was one of the best conversations that we always had, because people could really give you instances of no common sense or of good common sense. I hope you've done the same thing with your accountability partner. Make it a great weekend, and I will see you Monday.